Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome in, everyone. We're going to be talking about CERN and the Hadron Collider today. What is CERN? CERN is a massive underground city that is a governmental base to do top secret scientific experiments and create scientific experiences. They were known, and I'll share some more information about them, but they were known to try to rip time and space open and possibly even attach or invite open the fourth dimension, the lower fourth dimension, not the fifth dimension, the lower fourth dimension. So welcome in, everyone. Thank you for being here. Good evening, Richard. Good evening, Joe. Hey, 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 Ethereal World. It's good morning for Ethereal World. Good morning, then. Welcome in. We have a fascinating set of topics here about CERN. I have some intel that I received from a special group that I'm part of. It's nothing top secret, but I do want it to remain slightly anonymous. If you want to go to connectingconsciousness.org and learn more about this group, go for it. It's very like-minded. And Simon Parks helps to educate people and tell people about this. But a lot comes when you join the personal meetings and you get to see the event hosts and things like that. So I got this from a meeting. However, take it all with a grain of salt as it resonates. And I will also be asking several questions on what can you tell us about CERN? Is it really turning lead into gold? Is it real? Will CERN be used to spread money to the world? Is CERN being used to still rip open time and space and enter the fourth dimension? And is it white hat or dark hat controlled? So we're going to look at that after we share a little bit. I want to apologize to my members. I was asking myself today, what am I missing? What am I missing? And then I got a message from one of you, and I realized I didn't send out my email. So I apologize that you did not get the usual email this morning. But everything you can find on my website, if you want to be on that email list, go ahead and join. Personal readings, all that stuff, you know the drill. It's in the links and description box below. Let's get started. I was actually pulling cards and setting the tone here with spirit. We got the Tower card that flipped out. It's like, is this talking about me? Or is this a message for the world? Because I was definitely in the mindset of CERN. We got the Pentacle card, which is a military card. And then we got the Dark Elite card. And I think there might be an attempted hijacking of a certain type of money or banking establishment by the dark ones. There might be some sort of financial hijacking on an elite level. Tower card coming up here in the next few weeks. We also have the Two of Cups, which is agreements between people, and Ace of Wands. This told me there are agreements with the new financial system that are ready to move forward. So the two little messages in there. Let's see how the card reading goes. Ethereal World says, I always suspected the CERN people were of the dark side, wanting to F up this world. Yes, let me share a little bit about them. CERN, I believe they were started about the early 2000s, 2002 or 2006. That's when allegedly it was founded, or at least produced. It's on Wikipedia. I believe it's produced. It was produced to the world, allowed to be seen by the world in 2002. CERN is like a deep underground military establishment that stretches through Switzerland, Geneva. It passes several borders, but is centered in Switzerland and Geneva. Thousands and thousands and thousands of miles. A top secret military dark hat operation. At least it was. On September 15th, 2015, CERN was shut down, but they first had tried to punch a hole in the fourth dimension using the Hadron Collider, which is a particle accelerator where they basically speed up time and space so fast that it opens a portal beyond the veil. That's how I can say it in my simplest terms. It opens a portal. They were trying to access or let in dark beings or fourth dimensional beings. Their chief psychic was Aleister Crowley. Those of you who know, you know. He attempted to do multiple spiritually illegal activity, such as remove one soul from a woman's body and bring in a fourth dimension person in and do like a soul consciousness transfer on a human beings. He tried to access and bring in reptilians and dark beings that were from the fourth dimension, only he believed that they were good trying to come in. But he was their psychic, their mystic that helped them operate on a scientific way. As they were shutting down the connecting consciousness group of people, there were several thousand, if not more, but on this, they began a meditation to shut it down because they're a spiritual organization which understands the concept of opening up beyond the veil when it's not spiritually right, not spiritually legal, and it's not protected. They understand the concept of good beings and dark beings. Whatever you believe, they believed it was a wrong decision to just open up your psyche or the world realm to anything that exists in the fourth dimension. So they began a mass meditation. It ended up hindering the Hadron Collider, so much so that instead of creating a massive hole, the Hadron Collider only created a pinhole in a pinhole tear in the atmosphere connecting to the fourth dimension. But it did create a lightning strike in France, and it was enough to shock the world. But what many of the white hats noticed is that there was a mass meditation going on with several thousand people around the world to shut it down, and that it scientifically did not produce the same effect. That got the attention of the white hats, the military, the good people, I believe also those who do the mystery schools, and they understood, number one, how dangerous it was. It was during this time when we had the Mandela effect. Different people began, the timelines glitched, and the Bearstein Bears and the Bearstein and Jiffy Peanut Butter and Jif Peanut Butter and all those glitches that people say, wait, I remember it was this way, but it's now a different way. All those types of glitches happened right after this time, so it definitely did affect us. Today, apparently I don't have the exact date, but around this 2016, around the US president coming in, Mr. Trump, around that time, as the military began getting cleaned up, as the white hats began getting more power, began draining the swamp, they gained control of CERN and completely shut it down. Now, let me make sure I get all my notes here. It appears that this is the same group of people that have the secret military operation called the RV, or Nasera and Jacera. They are convinced, and they told our group it will happen. It is the biggest kept secret in the world. We're past the days of the EBS and the stock market crash. That's like an earlier timeline that could have been, it could have happened, but that's the same intel that came through that. So the question is, and lastly, going back to CERN, they believe that it will be used to explain this current, it will be used to explain where all the gold in the world is coming from. And I did get that from the event host. And so I just want to thank everyone for their service, every military leader, every white hat, every person that has, is serving the world in this capacity. But it is true that regardless of whether it actually stays into gold or not, that kind of announcement that CERN recently turned lead into gold will be used in some way to bring in more, for people to understand where all the gold is coming from or where all the money is coming from. Now, side note on that, I saw on X, people were commenting on it, and there was a comment there in one of the posts that said, the scientists turned lead to gold. They turned the molecular configuration of lead. They did whatever they did to change it into gold, but after a few milliseconds or seconds, it reverts back to lead. So it's not completely able to be used right now. That was something I heard allegedly online. So we'll look into that. Okay, Ethereal World says, and what would they do with all that gold if they did manage to produce it? World domination, but to whose benefit? Wonder who would own the gold and if that would then devalue all the other gold. I agree. I am suspect at why the Hadron Collider is trying to create gold. However, if it is being used as a psyop to help channel in the real gold, like Solomon's gold, the Vatican gold, to the rest of the world without disclosing, that could be one option. But I also believe that it's not staying gold. It's reverting right back to its molecular configuration. We can look at the cards. Anti-gravity-ish, hi, OMG, reminds me of Stranger Things. Absolutely. And since Crowley died so long ago, were they channeling him? I do believe that they are either channeling him or he was still in the astral realm trying to come in, or he was definitely had his proteges working on it, but he was the psychic and the mystic who birthed and worked with CERN, who basically was one of their consultants in the early, I don't know when he was born, but he is known as being the protector and the inspiration of the Hadron Collider, or working with them in a very important way. Is the Vatican involved? Good question. Okay, so what we're going to do is tap that question into some of these questions here. We'll bring that in when we ask about the white hat and the dark hat control. Allegedly, according to this white hat source that I met with the event that I was at, they believe that CERN is under white hat control. So Spirit, we're going to start first with the lead into gold. What can you tell us about the Hadron Collider? What can you tell us about CERN and this project about turning lead into gold? Is this a permanent thing? Is this actual gold? Is it staying gold? Is this going to produce a change in the world from a financial perspective? Thank you, thank you, thank you. The power of our meditation, the power of our prayers to alter reality. It's so inspiring. Okay, Spirit, what can you tell us about CERN, the Hadron Collider, and it's turning lead into gold? Thank you. Six of Swords, a moving away, a moving on, travel distance. Okay, we do have resources here. So a movement of resources, an avenue to move resources. We have the gold coins here on the tree, multiple different kinds of resources. In the past energy, we have the death card. Okay, CERN and the Hadron Collider underwent a major transformation, and I believe the Hadron Collider did, quote unquote, die. It was shut down from that 2015, 2016 attempt, or whenever it was taken over. It did get shut down in the past. It's being used to do something with resources, to move resources. This is still underground. This facility is still operating. This to me is the underground facility, the portal underground here, home facility, and an upgrade. A spiritual, energetic upgrade. So what is this upgrade here with CERN? Did it turn lead into gold? So with this card right here, it's just moving around stuff. It's moving resources. So I would say it's moving particles. I'm not getting anything concrete and physical except the movement of something 3D, such as protons, electrons, or gold. Let's see, what is this? Seven of Wands upgrade. It's going to be used for something. It's got a purpose. The Seven of Wands is its purpose. What is this purpose? A hidden purpose. It's not being told. Okay, the Knight of Cups is a humanitarian card. It's a card of healing. And then we have the media, the announcement, the truth coming out, disclosure. So this might be an avenue to get some sort of healing announcement to the world. Just based on the raw energy of a message of announcement that's going to bring good things to humanity, but it's a secret purpose. What can you tell us about this? I'm not getting any negative. We're getting a leader. We're getting a queen. Oh, and this queen is making me think of the system that connects to your heart, that financial system where it reads your intentions and then an announcement. They're using CERN to do something to announce things to the world. It's a very important worldwide attention mechanism. What is this Queen of Swords? I'm trying to get what this announcement is. Money system side by side. Two of Pentacles, the currencies side by side. The confusion of currencies in the world, and a massive worldwide change. So I believe this announcement of CERN is being put up by, we're going to look at whether it's white hat or dark hat, or it's put up by a world leader or several world leaders who are using it to announce a possible shift in financial ways of doing things. I would use this to confirm that it is going to be used to announce to the world all the gold in the world, or some sort of financial shift, some sort of currency exchange. And we have the Sun card, the golden age. Yeah, this is a way to announce to the world in a non-political way of doing it, not giving any world leader attention or credit, keeping it very neutral, to possibly getting people's eye on actual assets, gold, currency, but it's just a mechanism. Ola, I'm here, but won't be asking questions probably as I'm juggling 2 other tasks at the same time. Okay, Shauna. Okay. Oh, I missed all your, is the Vatican involved? We were looking at that. Or the KIBALLLL. Good job. Glad the white hats are back in control. It definitely feels like a good vibration. And good evening, good topic, she says, Shauna says. Ethereal World says, are there other CERN type operations elsewhere in the world that we're just not being told about? I have my suspicions about Norway, Greenway, and Antarctica. Very good question. Okay, let's go ahead now to, I want to put that into context. We're going to be looking at, is CERN white hat controlled or dark elite? We'll just get that cleaned up right away. Is the Vatican involved? Will it transfer through the Vatican? Is the white hat in control? 3 of Cups, multiple people, and this is a good card, but multiple people are right now involved. I'm seeing several different types of countries that are providing accountability, oversight, and have made a this could be the 3 nations. Financial, by banks, protecting money. Yes, CERN has some sort of balancing, but now I'm thinking this is more of particles. This is that Hadron Collider, the particles, that 3D matter, manipulation of matter, bringing matter back into balance. Matter, which would be slow moving particles. This is a slow moving card. And then containing and controlling. The white hats are in control. This is a high vibrational, the money cards are good cards. The 3 of Cups are good cards. Good military, Knight of Wands. This is definitely white hat military. They have captured the corrupt beings or the corrupt agendas That's the hype, captured in corruption. The white hat military is control of the logistics of the base, but there's several good countries that are involved in its operations. Scientists from multiple countries have a pact to come together and continue operating it as long as they're bringing the particles into balance. I actually think they might be using the Hadron Collider to rebalance the Earth realm, to bring balance and to assist the Earth in some way. Is any of the resources, is this connected to the Vatican? Is this connected to, I'm really seeing Switzerland and Sweden, and I'm seeing Geneva. I'm seeing high vibrational countries whose scientists requested. India, I'm seeing good scientists, white hat scientists. We're not being fully told what it is, but it is a wish fulfillment for humanity. And they did end certain things. They have a desire to end certain things for the good of humanity. So I do believe that CERN is being used not to create any gold, not to build anything, but to balance particles on the Earth realm. And there are scientists that we don't even know their name. We're not being told what it's truly doing, but I'm getting a good vibration. One of my questions is CERN being used to actually spread money to the world, or is it just an announcement? Like, is it actually going to create money? Let me just take a quick look to get clarity, because the cards use the money cards to explain particles. Ending. This fell out. The stars, high-grade technology, financial independence. So the CERN is going to be used to help somehow with the technology reset to help the world become financially. I do believe that the stars, the angels, and some sort of galactic technology is being involved in CERN, but we do have the shutdown, new grade technology, a new type of technology is involved in CERN, the Hadron Collider. I believe, and then some sort of independence to the world. Is the Hadron Collider the same? It is the same. It's just being paired with a different kind of consciousness, organic consciousness, the star card, or higher grade technology. So yes, the Hadron Collider is still operating, but it's connected to a higher consciousness, or it's under the hands of galactic and angelic technology. Wow. Very positive energy. Okay, let me see what you're all saying. Who are the three nations? Okay, can we try to figure that out? Yes, I can do a look-see. Would it be funny if gold were produced and that would be enough to pay off the U.S. debt? Ha, ha, ha. Absolutely. Or anybody's debt. Hopefully, the current scientists involved were chosen both for their capabilities and their pure heart. I definitely got that vibration. Okay, what's my next question here? Okay, let me ask, are there other CERN type operations elsewhere in the world that we're not being told about? And particularly in Norway, Greenway, or Antarctica? Are there other operations? I'm actually seeing India in CERN, some top Indian scientists. It feels like there's still some Geneva scientists there. I feel in the Switzerland government seems to kind of have a know about it, but the Geneva, some of the scientists I believe were really good. They were just under the hands of dark agendas. The Geneva scientists seem to still be there, Indian scientists, and Sweden keeps popping in. I don't know if it's Norway pops in, and I do think there's some possibly US scientists, but UK, but not, it's not as Schumann resonance kind of scientists. Are there other CERN facilities in the world that have hadron colliders? Let's ask that. That have hadron colliders. Hadron. Woo! Conflict. WAR. Not good energy. This is a city. City energy, 10 of cups, cities, families, establishments. Lacking funds. Okay, they are, and they're in war-torn countries. So I believe in countries that are currently in possible war zones. So there could be a hadron collider around Russia and Ukraine. But the first one I saw was Israel. I don't know if this is true. I'm just telling you what I see. If you have any comments, I saw Israel first in Gaza. I don't know, but it could just because it's war. But Spirit's highlighting international conflict where they're still fighting. There could be smaller hadron colliders or some sort of activity of such sort, scientific experiments going on. And that's why it's and they have underground, the biolabs, they have the underground cities, but the underground cities that are still warring. I mean, the nations that still have wars possibly have underground cities that they're actually fighting over. However, I believe Spirit's saying these underground establishments do not have the funds they once had. They're greatly lacking. Spain, some of these blackouts could be because of this lack of money. There could definitely be hadron colliders in war-torn areas. Iraq, Iran, scientists of those countries that began getting top secrets and began trying to either reverse engineer the Hadron Collider from CERN. They began trying their own experiments with particle acceleration. This is not just located to this CERN establishment. I'm seeing intelligence leaks of where people wanted to learn, what are they developing? What if it's a war tactic? What if it's a scientific take you to the moon? Oh, break. I don't know, but spies were trying to get this intel. And I don't see hadron colliders as big as the one in CERN, but I see mini ones or attempts. I'm also seeing those stargates. I believe Iraq had a possible stargate. Something like that. Manipulation of the stargates as well. Okay. What about Greenland? I'm really curious about Greenland. Greenland had... I'm not getting anything in Greenland. Greenland had something else going on. I kind of get a no from here. A no, a 5 of Cups, the moon card. I'm kind of getting a no to Greenland. Okay. It would be funny if the gold were produced. Yes. Hopefully the current scientists involved are chosen both for their capabilities and pure heart. I already read that. Yes, I agree. Are there any off-world entities involved in CERN, maybe Palladians or Lyrans or otherwise? Spirit, are the Palladians involved with this new galactic control, this new technology? Can you tell us if the Palladians are... And I believe people said the Palladians are akin to the angelics in the Bible. Somebody who said that, so take it with a grain of salt. We have the High Priestess, intense higher wisdom. I want to clarify that. That is a wise, all-knowing group. Okay, here's the 3 of Swords, betrayal, and the 5 of Swords. I believe they ward the astral entities. The Palladians were part of keeping at bay the astral entities that tried to break through when CERN was first released. Protection. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for your protection. They fought to keep those entities at bay. They've been fighting for a long time. It's been basically galactic wars, trying to keep the dark ones from gaining control over humanity. They're the protectors. I don't get that the Palladians are involved in the technology. Okay, we have they're all over the world at all the stargates. That's the Palladians. Okay, Lyrans, and I don't know much about these galactics, but take it as it resonates. The Venusians apparently are associated with the Ascended Master realm. And they could be a whole different starseed. The Lyrans. What can you tell us about the Lyrans? Do they have any role in CERN or the technology now used? You got the yes card. Ooh, do you know anything about the Lyrans? Energy, energy, energy. I'm seeing like Archangel Orion and Uriel. Those two kind of Tartarian, energetic, free electricity. Ooh, this is a really good vibration. And patching up, repairing atmospheres, repairing breaches, technologies, energy. The Lyrans are definitely involved with free energy, with protecting atmosphere protection, and some sort of free energetic technology to the world. So yes, you got a yes card. It's only 4 of those cards in the deck. So Lyrans are yes. If you want any more, put them in the chat if you want to see about any other realms. Okay. Russia, possibly. They have amazing scientists. There would be no place in Gaza for this to... Okay, so I think Gaza was just a frame of reference to be like war-torn kind of things. I'm also wondering if there were certain C3-letter agencies trying to set one up on the border of Russia and Ukraine, and that could be one of the, part of the biolab technology that allegedly is there. I just get that feeling of we have a greater reason to war than just a border. In all across the world, that kind of feeling. I missed the very first 6 minutes, so this is something to do with gold. I thought time shifts like Mandela effects, and they had to be taken over for the good. Yes, let's ask about the timeline shifts. Did CERN... Got some cards coming up. Did CERN actually create a timeline shift when it was originally operated? We have a lot of confusion. Look at that card. She's looking everywhere to find hope, to find comfort, and she has too many options. And then we have the protection card, the holding things safe. So let me ask this question, the control, I should say, controlling their options. There was a leader here that addressed the country. I'm sorry, the cards are just talking to me. Timeline shifts. Was CERN used to create timeline shifts such as the Mandela effect? Was it an accident, or was it intentionally trying to drag us into a timeline shift? A dark dystopian timeline spirit. What can you tell us about any timeline shift activity when CERN was first activated? 10 of Cups, there's the facility. 5 of Swords, it was conflicted. Many scientists were conflicted about the work CERN was doing in 2015. That's why some of the scientists are still there, because they did not agree with the cult-like practices of trying to rip open time and space. Many scientists knew the dangers of what was happening in 2015. This was a strength card, a show of force, manipulation, and control. The Hierophant, Dark Elite. King of Wands, the leader of the Dark Elite in CERN. We're tapping into the energy of 2015. Did they create a timeline shift, Spirit? 5 of Wands, Queen of Wands, the intuitional people, the people of pure hearts, were very grieved. They actually tried to sabotage it and balance it out. This is the timeline. The timeline needed to be patched. This is a rebalancing, the Temperance card. Two of Wands, a portal. That to me is the timeline card. Two timelines, and a surrender. Yes, I do believe they tried to affect the timelines, but it did not work to the extent they wanted to. That the timeline not collapsed in on itself, but the timelines they opened collapsed in on themselves, and we still got the higher timeline. That timeline breach was repaired. It was ended. It was closed. I believe the Pleiadians had a lot to do with it in patching up that timeline. This is a breach. This is a choice. We have the two choice cards, two timelines running side by side, and then a surrender, which is an ending, like a closing, a closure. So I hope that opened your question. I do believe those timelines opened for quite some time, which is why we got the Mandela effect. Okay. Plasma was involved. Very interesting. Plasma, which I believe is some sort of more interdimensional, higher consciousness type material. Is that correct? Antigravitish says, hi, Richard. Good to see you. Looking forward to you. Always interesting questions. To your always interesting questions. Absolutely. Okay, I have several more questions here as I wait for you all to put more in. Is CERN still being used to play with time? To do timeline shifts, to do timeline ripping open, to repair time, anything having to do with time? Is the Hadron Collider still being used to manipulate time in any way? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whew, okay. The Tower card, the World card. No, it's ended. When these two cards go together, this is a Tower moment. Look at the electricity. Ooh, something bursting open, an ending. This is the last card of the major arcana, and a major ending. No, the ripping open of time and space is officially done. It's over. It's being used now for resources, for health. This is the health card. The Queen of Pentacles is a healthy woman. She nurtures her children. She takes care of her life, her family, and that's it. She's a nurture card. So it's being used to serve humanity. It is being used for some high grade. This is the Magician. This is Merlin. This is the Philosopher's Stone, turning lead into gold. You can't get a better card than this to say what it's doing. It is trying to turn lead into gold. It is its primary focus right now. It wants to be a magician. And I say it, meaning its purpose. Three of Wands. We have some distance coming to CERN. It's going to move on from gold. It's going to move on. It's not going to stay long trying to be a magician. We're going to ask about the future here in a moment. Is CERN inevitably going to be shut down altogether, and would that require underground explosions to ensure it's never used again? Good question. What's the future of CERN? Is it going to be shut down? Would it require massive explosions? Or is it just going to be kept in the hands of the white hats? What is going on with CERN? What is its potential future in our current timeline as it stands today? Thank you. It's going to be repurposed. The Fool card is the first card in the deck, and it represents a brand new beginning. Look how oh my goodness. I just saw time travel. Look how she's stargates, galactic technology. And I'm seeing this like 40 years from now. it has the fruits of making us an intergalactic, interstellar, moving beyond the realms kind of vibration. This is, I didn't expect this. And look, Ace of Wands. So it's going to be used for something brand new, a new vibration, a positive vibration, and it's going to eventually involve teleportation or some sort of movement, whether it's beyond the veil movement or galactic movement or spaceship or just physical teleportation from one city to another. Yeah, I think the facility of CERN is going to be used for brand new interstellar activity. I'm not seeing the Hadron Collider though. King of Pentacles. This is an earth type feeling. Knight of Swords. This is technology, fast moving, transportation. Yeah, knight on a horse, a white horse with a sword, and this is the fastest card in the deck, other than the Chariot. But this card tells fast movement. This is my transportation card. Yes, CERN is going to be used for high-level transportation on this Earth realm and energetic. I'm seeing the molecular change of our bodies as we teleport. Like they're going to learn how to preserve our DNA to transmute through time and space. Jeez Louise. Woo! So CERN itself is not going to be shut down. I believe it will be repurposed into, I'm seeing bubble crafts. Like you're in a bubble and you're like traveling. Sorry. Getting a psychic download. Okay. But I'm seeing this like over 30 to 40 years time. Ooh, okay. But I do get that this is Earth-based travel. It's going to be used to go from one location to the other. This is going to be used to help humanity go through portals using energy, using transportation devices, and once again, using quick. We have two very quick cards. Quick moving on the Earth plane. Okay. Wow. Okay. Is CERN a Stargate? Can it potentially be used for one? Let's ask that question, because I thought I started seeing Stargate activity, but then Spirit kind of showed it is teleportation right now. Is CERN a Stargate? Can I access a Stargate? Could it potentially be used as one? Thank you. King of Wands. Two of Cups. This is a leader having to give, this is a leader making an agreement, okay? The world card, the wheel card, this is the zodiac wheel, the wheel of space, the wheel of time, okay? The wheel of matter, the wheel of the zodiac, the wheel of the planets. So I believe Earth needs to be invited into or through the Stargate, and they still haven't quite received that go-ahead or that invitation from the higher realms or the necessary agreements for the Stargate to be used isn't quite there. Eight of Pentacles work, needs a lot of work. And then we have the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is the idea of our consciousness being at a low level and being a low grade. So right now, as it stands, Spirit seems to be saying humanity is not at a consciousness level where we can just open up and go beyond the veil or interdimensionally travel and go through those. It's like our consciousness can't handle it right now. Is there a potential that this could be used in the future? King of Cups, the Empress card, Mother Earth, and the Hermit. So this is a high grade of spiritual and soul development. This is emotional stability. King of Cups, emotional and higher consciousness. So we have the lowest form of consciousness, and then we have one of the highest forms of consciousness, okay? We have the ascension of Mother Earth, and then we also have secret spiritual wisdom, soul development. I believe if humanity went through the Stargate, their soul would get zapped. Like the soul connected to the body isn't ready to go through a Stargate. That's the best way I can explain this. Like there needs to be someone of intense spiritual development. Maybe you need your light body, your 5D body, your crystalline body. You need something. I'm seeing ascended ones, galactics, and ascended. I'm actually seeing ascended masters come on through Stargates and going through Stargates, but humanity needs to reach an ascended state, a bodhisattva state, which is like the ascended, almost ascended, a Buddha state, a higher consciousness to be able to go through Stargates. I think the teleportation will come first. And then once we establish a physical teleportation on this world, consciousness is going to begin adapting to that kind of technology. We're going to ascend. I keep seeing 2040. I'm not saying we're going to go through Stargates in 2040, but that's a huge time frame where we might get teleportation in 2040. I just keep seeing the year 2040. Once we reach the ability to teleport, we're going to begin exploring the concept of Stargates and sending people through Stargates. I think that's when it's going to start entering scientists' minds. Does that make sense? I could be wrong. I don't quite know what I'm seeing, but it's fascinating. Great questions. Okay. Let me go back here. Is CERN a Stargate? Can it potentially be used as one? Yes. Yes, I do believe that. They have the technology to build off of it. Okay, we have the forward movement. And has it ever been used as one? I wonder if they ever moved one or more of the historical Stargates for this purpose. And Richard has a question. Oh, wait. Somehow, if a skip in an electron colliding a parallel universe would be proved a connection breached, so to speak. Very interesting concept there. Very interesting concept about the timeline shifts. If an electron collided with a parallel universe, it would be a connection breach, so to speak. It would prove to be a connection breach. Incognito says transportation of our digitalized self. They will move our consciousness to computers or digitalized life forms. Jeez, I hope not. Okay, more questions. Let's see. Has it ever been used as one? Have they ever moved the Stargates? Are the Stargates set in time and space, or are they like the more historical ones? Are they there for this purpose? What's the purpose of the Stargates? Are they movable, or are they set in the atmospheric realm of Earth? We have this card flipped out. High-grade technology, galactic technology, wisdom. Here is 6 of Wands. This is like that victorious portal energy, and a yes card. Have they ever been moved? This is not stable energy. This is okay, here's location, movement, and 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, they can be moved because it's not a matter of the earth so much as it's a matter of time and space, what's done there. Yes, the galactics will let you move them. They will. Is the future activity of CERN somehow related to the moon? Oh, the cards are speaking today. The Hermit card, secret knowledge. With this Hermit card, it's triggering an image of technology on the moon or some sort of movement on the moon, satellites on the moon. Let me get a full read though. Is the future activity of CERN somehow related to the moon? The future activity of CERN somehow related to the moon. What can you tell us about the moon and CERN in the future? Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. Okay. The moon and CERN. Well, the Knight would be possibly the moon, like the Earth being a bigger pentacle than the moon, than the Knight. Yes. Balance. Surrender. Orbit. Balance. An ending. Yes. I don't think I have the mindset to see what's coming in because my head is really itching right here. I think a message is coming in, but my personal consciousness doesn't fully grasp it. The Moon card. Two of Cups. Two moons. Oh, I don't want to go here. Two and an upgrade. And then we have a surrender. Now, I am not someone who believes the theory that we have two moons. I don't even have an opinion on whether our moon is real or artificial. And if you all have an opinion, please share it in the chat. But based on the way this is coming in, it's obviously cognitive dissonance for me. There is the possibility that we have two moons. One, CERN could be used to end one and bring balance to the original moon that was originally designed to be in our reality. This is technology, Ace of Swords technology that balances by ending something. And we have the Moon card, the Two card, or in partnership with something, but it's an upgrade. This could be in a partnership with the sun and the moon, because we do have Mother Earth here, and then we have a smaller body, a smaller circular pentacle. We have a bigger pentacle, so this could be either Mother Earth and the moon, and they need to be brought into balance, or this is actually a two moon thing. One is more technology, and one is that technology is eclipsing our true spiritual moon or a true fourth dimensional moon or some sort of realm. It's eclipsing something and it needs to be brought into balance. So yes, I do believe there's some sort of technology out there that is going to somehow bring balance to our moon world. Yes, it's going to bring balance. It's going to change the trajectory of the speed of the moon, the orbit. Something is going to affect the moon. Yeah. Richard says Homo sapien cannot be trusted with nuclear products or plasma technology, I guess. That, I believe you're talking about because the chat's a little bit slow and I'm reading it slow. I believe you're talking about how the stargates in our consciousness cannot go through the stargate. So true. That makes sense that we cannot be trusted. Our collective ethics are too compromised, or maybe our reactivated DNA will allow for joining the community of worlds. I agree. Our DNA might have to upgrade to allow the transfer of stargates. Ethereal World says, did Tartaria used to have technology that allowed humans to transport from one place to another on Earth? Maybe that's technology is being recreated, so to speak. And Incognita says an asteroid hits the moon. So let's pull on the moon and then we'll go into Tartaria, since I'm still in the energy of the moon, because that was crazy. Something about rebalancing the moon and a technology being used. And this could just be rebalancing the moon realm, because there's a spiritual realm to the moon, and then there's a physical moon, and the physical represents a spiritual realm. So it could be that when I say two moons or two type of realms, every planet has a corresponding spiritual realm beyond the veil. So anyway, that's what esotericism teaches. Is an asteroid going to hit the moon and it need to be fixed, rebalanced? You got a small yes. You have a probability in the astral realm. You have technology and some sort of device, and then you got a large yes. So there might be some sort of attack or a puncture energy device, some sort of asteroid, some sort of object that might potentially hit and it need to be corrected. You got a little yes, meaning a probability. This yes is meaning there's more. There's a yes, but there's more. That's how sometimes I read this this Page of Wands. But with the Ace of Wands and the technology, this is also a truth card. There's something possibly going to drastically affect the moon. I'm just trying to get a time frame here. 10 of Cups, Magician card. This will affect the people and might actually be an attempted timeline shift to shift us back into an old timeline. It's definitely going to be very, very astral and magical with intense energy. I'm not getting an actual asteroid as much as maybe an energy attack. I really need to stop thinking of Star Road like a death strike. My head is itching like crazy. So I'm having a hard time understanding the information. But you are onto something about an asteroid or something that could potentially shock the moon, and it needs to be rebalanced. Ooh. Richard said, oh wait, we got one more. Oh, we're supposed to go into Tartaria. But Richard says, ask if one moon is a ship towed here by the baddies eclipsing the real moon. I've heard that theory. I can't believe I'm pulling cards on this because it stretches my imagination. I have heard that theory, and I really don't want to believe it. But that's not what the cards always say. I mean, like, the cards don't always agree with my mindset. Spirit is the moon, is one of the moons or a potential moon, possibly a structure of some sort controlled by dark ones. King of Cups, Queen of Swords, that's a technology, the Hermit card. And that is a high grade type of spiritual technology. You have a yes, a Sun card, which can be a major yes, and then a Knight of Pentacles, which is some sort of military activity. If I was to answer that, okay, I would say the moon does affect our emotions. It does affect the tides because it has a very spiritual aspect to it. It has energy. It is a spiritual interdimensional. This is interdimensional. It has wisdom beyond what we can comprehend. But then we also do have the technology card. And it is used to affect our emotions, the water. So it's got a spiritual effect to it, but it's also got a very technology effect to it. I'm not getting from the cards that it moved here. I'm getting more of like it was created here, but take it as it resonates. There is some sort of military activity involved with it, but I do agree it has some spiritual. It is very spiritual, but it's got some sort of technology to it that is very hard for me to understand. But yeah, there's some truth to that question. What is the, okay, let's go to Tartaria. Did Tartaria used to have the technology that allowed humans to transport from one place to another? And I assume you mean teleport, right? I'm going to ask because teleporting and that DNA transmutation, you could say trans-teleportation. And if not, can you show us what they did have? Okay, we have the Five of Pentacles, the card of lacking DNA, or they lacked something we have. And what I'm seeing here is not a lack like a downgrade, it's actually an upgrade. So I believe they did not have as dense DNA as we had. What can you tell us about Tartaria? The Devil card is saying no to teleportation, but some sort of spiritual high-grade light, and then you have a yes. They moved in a different way other than the DNA teleportation we have today. It's a different, I'm getting a no, and then I'm getting a internal light body, like a light frequency, light codes, and then I'm getting a yes. So I believe their technology was slightly different than ours. I believe that we have lower consciousness today, so we need a whole different kind of technology to teleport our DNA and consciousness through time and space than what they did. I'm kind of seeing like the idea of levitation, anti-gravity type devices, something with a high vibrational pulse, electromagnetic, pyramids. I'm seeing like hovering over the ground, some sort of maybe earth free energy kind of devices. I'm not getting that they have the same kind. This is a big no to the current teleportation we're exploring right now, because they had different bodies. They had less dense bodies than we did. I mean, Tartaria would have been over Tartaria would have been, I'm not sure, there's different theories, but some say there was a great reset that erased the mention of Tartaria from our textbooks, our history around the 1800s. But the Tartaria was a group of very high vibrational people in Russia, Siberia, and spreading all out throughout Europe. And they had huge kingdoms, a lot like the Roman Empire had a kingdom, or the Ottoman Empire, or the Babylonian Empire. But they've just erased that empire from our history. And they had this kind of like levitation technology. I hope that answers your question. Of course, take it all with a grain of salt. Okay. What is the earliest you see big CERN related news that would affect humanity at large? Spirit, can you give us a time frame about how CERN, if CERN puts out an announcement for humanity, can you give me a time frame? Spirit wants me to feel like switching decks. Okay. Can you give us a time frame for when this information with CERN is going to affect humanity? And what is the information going to be? What is this announcement CERN is potentially going to be using to shift the world? What is this announcement? And can you give me a time frame, please? 3 cards. Temperance, healing, balance. The Hierophant, okay. An institution, and Knight of Cups. This is that humanitarian aid. So 3 cards. We have the Temperance card, which is a year card. We have the Hierophant, which is 5 years. And then we have the Knight of Cups. And the Temperance is a 14. Okay. Can you some sort of humanitarian aid. I'm not getting actual money, resources, or gold. I'm not getting anything here. We have a lot of water, a lot of healing vibrations, a lot of balancing to the world. We have some sort of teaching, exotic teaching about practices. This could be a way of teaching about esoteric practices. The Philosopher's Stone, a way to bring in some sort of teaching to the world about what our world realm really is. Quantum physics, particles, space, time. This could be a way that spirit brings us, the universe allows us to learn about time, space, matter, and who we really are as an earth realm. But can you give me a time frame of when this? But there's also some sort of humanitarian aid, but it's not actually going to be giving humanitarian aid. It's just that announcement. Spirit, can you give me a time frame, please? We have a 3 of Pentacles. This is 3 months. Queen of Wands. This would be potentially, well, that's a month too. Queen of Cups. So anywhere between 3 months and a year, we're definitely going 3 to 6 months. We're definitely going to hear more from CERN concerning either humanitarian aid or more about the Philosopher's Stone, more about particles, more about the quantum realms, the interdimensional spaces. But it's going to be good for the humanity. The asteroid to hit the moon on purpose. Yes, to deflect the asteroid to hit the moon on purpose. Exactly. I think that incognito could be the reason of the technology. They saw the asteroid and manipulated it. Oh, they saw it and manipulated it to hit the moon. Very interesting. Anti-grav. Let's stay in the moon sphere. Okay, I got to catch up to your comments. Since we're on the topic of the moon, is there really a people civilization there called the Selenians? And are they of the dark or the light? And I'm going to continue on to your question so that I get the full gist. And does the moon actually sit within the firmament? And can we understand it as a bubble with Earth and the moon, both sitting within the firmament as described in the Bible? An astral projection, body of light, or an astral plane stuff. Would you consider doing a whole separate reading on Tartaria sometime? Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you know Russia just disclosed something about Tartaria? I'll save Mr. Putin dead. He disclosed something about Tartaria being in his region. They ascended to a higher vibe and left us with great buildings talking about Tartaria. And question, is the mycoplasmic danger as bad as people are saying? Okay, so let's do 2 more questions and then I'm going to go. And we'll definitely consider doing Tartaria maybe next Wednesday. I'll see about maybe Sunday, but definitely Wednesday seems to be a good live to get questions in. I'm thinking next Wednesday. Okay, so let's table Tartaria and let's go back to the moon. Does the moon actually sit within the first question? Since we're on the topic of the moon, is there really a people civilization there called the Selenians, and are they of the dark or the light? We got the Magician card. So it's definitely a magical place, a place of a lot of creation. 5 of Pentacles. There's a lack. So let's go ahead and ask about people on the moon. Spirit, what can you tell us about people on the moon? Ooh, you got the 10 of Pentacles, which is people, civilizations, groups. I'm being reminded right now in my head that there's a spiritual realm of it and a physical realm. So some of it could be interdimensional. 4 of Cups, they're under negotiation or contact. and they're going through some sort of upgrade, ascension process, or development. And this coupled with the cards that fell out, I believe there's some that might, I feel like some people have left, forced away. There's not as many people there now. I do get that this is part of a spiritual reality. There's a very important interdimensional reality to the moon. Spiritual, a moving away of spiritual or fourth dimensional astral beings, and then an upgrade to the good people of light who are either on the moon or in the spiritual side of things. But yeah, there's beings associated with the moon. There are beings associated with the moon. The moon makes my head itch. And I am going to ask, we're going to table the information about the firmament because I think my brain has had enough, but we'll come back to that, ask it again, maybe in another live, because that will really stretch my cognitive dissonance. Let's do one more about microplastic. Yes, can we do a reading dedicated fully to the moon and the firmament? You're going to make my head hurt? Yes, I will write that down. It's just because my brain has a hard time with it. And maybe I don't want to fully believe that the moon in the sky has people associated. It's just we weren't taught that. Okay, moon. Yeah, and Cliff High has a lot of information on that. Microplastic. They say a plastic spoon worth in average brain. The moon people are lunatics, all of them. LOL. Yes, that would be great. Wonder if the firmament is in the frequency fence or is coming down or breaking up. Okay, yes. So save all your questions about our star seeds being sent from the moon down to Earth. Lunatic peeps get reincarnated into moon people in their next lives. Okay. Esotericism teaches, I don't want to go into this. It's going to make my head hurt. Esotericism does teach there is a moon realm that we cycle through in incarnation. So I will definitely try to learn about what esotericism teaches. And then I know some of you have been following Cliff High because he has information on the moon as well. He believes that, I believe it's a spaceship that came in from the dark side. But there's also a lot of teachings about the spiritual aspect of the moon realm. So yeah, you are definitely being on the right track here. So I'll try to research the esoteric spiritual teaching of the moon, and then hopefully some of you all can chime in with some of the more modern day teachings on the moon from some of the psychics as well. I'm missing a question. Microplastic. Microplastic. They say a plastic spoon worth in the average. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying microplastic collects in the brain and there's a spoonful worth in the average brain, and this relates to possibly a lower consciousness and an inability to connect to the divine, or a blocked pineal gland. Is there really microplastic in the brain? Does it collect in the brain and block our consciousness of some sort? Last question. Okay, we have this card coming up. Eight of Swords. This is limiting beliefs, programs. Look how he's chopping off his head. He cannot see. Eight of Swords. Limitations, programming, lack of clarity. Spirit, what can you tell us about microplastics? We got this card, the Hanged Man, a difficult position, discomfort, uncomfortableness, discomfort, feelings of discomfort, like not just itchiness, but like not low emotions, low vibrations, discomfort, almost like a discordant hum. Is there microplastic stored up in people's brains? Six of Swords and the King of Pentacles. So this is the earthly people, the World card. So it appears that it was there was a lot of microplastic buildup, but something's moving things away. I'm not sure what this reading is, because it could be tapping into an energy of, it was an intention. It was a Agenda 21 intention. But then there's healing. So this could be a 5G. I'm seeing the 5G towers, okay? And I'm seeing something was intended, but it's ended. And now it's being moved away by a healing mechanism. And a Six of Wands is victory in the hands of the people, a higher vibration. I don't know where the microplastic came from, but on the bottom of the deck, we have the Hermit card. And this is that higher wisdom, higher knowledge, spiritual vibrations from above. So I think the light codes of the earth, of the sun and the earth and the ascension process is removing the plastics. But I am getting a yes. There seems to be a natural healing process happening to help heal those brain particles. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the 5G and the low frequencies being bombarded on our earth realm could have been building up this negativity and creating plastics in our body, but something's happening to help relieve it and bring in a higher vibration, and our body seems to be transmuting it. We can definitely look into that later on too. That's very, very fascinating. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for your support, for being here. Let me finish your questions or your comments. Anti-Gravity-ish says remote viewer, Chandler, an alien contactee. Elizabeth April says she has attended remotely Galactic Federation meetings within the moon. Interesting. And inside of it. And then Calamity Jane says, I heard that the moon was dragged here. I've heard that too. Incognito says 0.5% by weight in brain collects. Yep. So something in our brain was collecting because of some sort of low vibrational frequencies. Richard says, could be a soul trap designed to recycle us. He's talking about the moon, implant station, forever trapped in 3D. Esotericism does teach that our soul has to pass through the moon realm to get to the higher realms of planets, Venus, Mercury. You know, Venus is the ascended masters and Mercury is the archangels, which would be, I don't know, the Pleiadians. Anyway, I don't know all the information, but that does be a potential trap, the moon realm. Incognito, thank you. Interesting, thank you on the microplastic question. Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you for being here, everyone. I'm feeling Tartaria for next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Those of you who are part of my email list and on my membership, I will send out those emails. I have not decided what to do for Sunday, but something will pop up. If you have any ideas, I just need some time to research the moon a little bit before I do the moon realm there. But if you have any comments, go ahead. And anything more of the lighthearted nature, no deep dives, but something that we can just pull cards on quickly, I'm definitely open to ideas. Anti-Gravity says, on your future moon reading, we ask if star seeds are being sent down from the moon down to Earth. Okay. We want to know about star seeds coming to Earth. And if they don't come from the moon, are they coming through the moon realm? But yeah, are star seeds coming from the moon to Earth? And then obviously some of you asked about, I'm writing this down, is it a soul trap? And some of you else had some good questions. Okay. And then, do you recommend wearing a St. Michael pendant? Absolutely. I have found that angels, they use them as like little contracts. Anything you do, if you write the name on paper, if you say the name, if you have a statue, a lot of the people from the ancient times had statues of their favorite ascended being because it was like a point of contact. Not only did they remember to call on that being, but also it was an open invitation to them spiritually to say, I invite your presence into my life. Absolutely. Incognito says microplastic, and oh my goodness, you're saying Google it and be shocked. Wow. Anti-gravity says, please do the moon. Richard's waving, or the firmament. So oh yeah, that was right. The firmament or the moon. And then I've heard that the moon has become a processing center for star seeds coming to Earth from elsewhere, where they are prepared there. Prepared. Wow. Yeah. I want to get that chart from the esoteric chart that shows the travel of an incarnated soul from the different planets, and it shows the different realms. Like Saturn used to be a realm and has been hijacked, and its realm was part of like the dark Saturn cube and the Lucifer realm and the Ahriman or the Antichrist realm, and that's been hijacked into that kind of establishment. The moon realm is like a neutral spiritual transfer place. Very, very interesting. Okay, I gotta stop before we go ahead and do this too much. Okay, so I definitely have the moon and I have Tartaria on my list. Yeah. And anything else, any other questions, feel free to comment them on the YouTube channel. I will pick them up there as well. Thank you for joining me. This is epic. This is exciting. Thank you for being here, Star Seeds, Galactics, people of light. I honor you. Together, we're going to change the world. I know that there's a chart out there, Anti-Gravity-ish, about this moon realm. I will try to find it. I've got to find it on some of those old sites. And then Plains of Oblivion, it sounds like, like just no man's land. It's just not a developed place, or maybe it was hijacked. All right, next time. See you all later. See you this coming Sunday, and then next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Until next time.